John Hancock by Jessica Lawson. John Hancock was born in Braintree, Massachusetts, January 12, 1736. John loved to play with a yo-yo and liked bubble blowing and dancing. John liked music too. John's father died when he was young. John had to go live with his uncle, who was a rich merchant businessman who owned a lot of land in New England. John got a business degree from Harvard College. When John was 28, his uncle died and left John all his money, business, and land. John Hancock then was one of the richest people in all the colonies. Hancock used his money for many things, from personal gain to freedom of America. If it was not for his fortune, we may very well not have a United States of America. Even though John Hancock was a strong patriot, most of the area he got from his uncle consisted of loyalist patriots, someone that did not like to be taxed on the goods they were trying to sell or trade. They also wanted to be independent, not bossed by the British king or government. Loyalist, someone who liked the British king and government. On March 22, 1765, King George III and British government passed the Stamp Act, ordering all the America's colonies to pay taxes on all the paper that they used. John did not like this at all, so he went and had a talk with his longtime friend Samuel Adams. John said, first it's taxes on the fish and oil, corn and sugar, then the wine and paper, newspaper, playing cards, even the toilet paper! Now the tea, taxes, 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 rules, rules, rules. I'm sick of it! John Hancock and other colonists decided not to pay taxes on the goods, and hearing this made the British government and King George III very angry. And the king sent soldiers and tax collectors back to Boston. John and the other colonists did not expect what would happen next. March 5, 1770, a group of patriots threw snowballs and seized the British sentry. Some British troops saw this and went to protect him. Then the patriots started making fun of the British soldiers. They threw rocks and ice at the British. The British soldiers became upset with the patriots. Someone shouted, "Fire!" And the soldiers shot into the crowd, killing 5 patriots. Shortly after, John and Samuel Adams with 80 other colonists dressed as Indians and went aboard British ships and dumped all the tea in the water. King George was so mad about the tea party, he closed down all the ports to the colonies, and King also offered a reward for capturing John Hancock, and anyone that was helping King George also started quartering, which meant British troops could take over your home and you'd have to take care of them. John Hancock and Samuel Adams then headed to Lexington and Concord, where a meeting of representatives from all 13 colonies was meeting in September 1774. First Continental Congress. John Hancock was a member of the First Continental Congress. Representatives of each colony met as a group for the first time. They wrote a letter to King George and British government wanting the Intolerable Act lifted and wanted to be independent, and said they would boycott English goods if their demands was not met. King George ignored their request and continued punishing them. The British are coming! The British are coming! The British are coming! Writer Paul Revere delivered a message that British armies were marching toward the town with orders from the king to capture rebel leaders John Hancock and Samuel Adams and to destroy all the American stores of guns and ammunition. John and Samuel was able to hide from the redcoats to escape capture. Americans even got to hide most of their ammunition and guns. Shots heard around the world. Early next morning, April 17, 1775, they heard a noise of British armies as they marched into Lexington. John and Samuel watched from their hiding spot as a large British armies and small groups of American soldiers met face to face. Neither side expected to really fight, but with the confusion, a gunshot went off. Then the British attacked, which was the start of the American Revolution. Fighting continued between the Americans and the British armies on land and sea for about a year, but by far was not over. America's first victory battle in the Green Mountains of Virginia, where the Green Mountain Boys put a spanking on the British. Battle of Bunker Hill, bad loss for the Americans. John Hancock was in charge of leading 6,000 men into Battle of Newport, where he was unsuccessful and ended his military career, but not his political career. Second Continental Congress. May 10, 1775, Second Continental Congress meeting again in Philadelphia, now called Independence Hall. John Hancock was voted president. This Congress acted much more like a government, sending ambassadors to foreign countries, printing its own money, getting loans, and raising an army. Is that right, please? John Hancock stayed as the president of the Second Continental Congress for 2 years, where he helped make many great decisions that affect how we live and things we say and do today. This Congress is where they settled on the bald eagle as the American symbol. The flag with stars and stripes was accepted as the American flag. The country would be called the United States of America. The Congress declared independence from Great Britain and wrote the Declaration of Independence. John Hancock's signature is still remembered by people saying, "Sign your John Hancock," meaning sign your name. The battle between the American and British lasted 8 long years. July 4, 1776, John was the first man to sign the Declaration of Independence. He wrote his name to Vegas so King George III would be able to read it without his glasses. "Let him double his reward," John said. The Declaration of Independence is why we celebrate today. After serving president of the Second Continental Congress, he returned to Braintree, Massachusetts. August 28, 1775, John married Dorothy Quincy, and they had 2 children. John was re-elected as governor, where he continued to make the state and the country better. 1780, John was elected governor of Massachusetts, and he served until 1787. John ran for president of the United States of America again. George Washington, which he lost, making George the first president. John was later reelected to be governor of Massachusetts. He served as governor until October 8, 1793, when he died at the age of 56.